Alrighty, every folks, let's go ahead and do this thing. So, looks like Bunny actually managed to finish their first run here. So looks like the time to beat is, what the hell was it? Like 10 hours, 12 hours? I don't know, something along those lines. I'm still shooting for 8 on this thing, but let's go ahead and give this a little bit of a go here. Okay, and there we go. Got it full screen, and let's go. Now, this is with absolutely, like, craptacular timing in the early part here. That went really poorly. Like, really, really, really poorly. It's honestly unlikely that many things would go as poorly as that did. But, first order of business, yeah, you're fine right there. We're just going to go ahead and immediately go into this first fight. We got lightning coming up for this one. Do we have any earth units? We have plenty of earth units. We're going to go with something like this. So, ideally you want to surround her with whatever earth units you've got here. Generally speaking, while we can set up with buffs or whatever else, the overall strategy for this fight is going to run fairly similar. If you've got earth units, you can more or less maintain in this one. You can do it with all of them, just earth is going to be better. The two in the front there are going to be the biggest ones to break through, but if you rush the center, you can go ahead and get by a little bit faster. Also, apparently, if you're doing a multi-segment run, just something to bear in mind is fast forward actually turns off every time you reload the game, so that's always a bit of a thing. But yes, you says skip. I feel like whenever switching over to the to PC for all of these runs, I feel like it's gonna end up going a little bit better. Reason being, I feel like there's an issue with the switch and the start button. Like, I remember I have these inputs down by muscle memory when it comes to the PSP version, and yet for whatever reason, it always feels like half the time it just won't respond. So I don't know if I don't exactly know what the funkiness is there, but anyway, as long as you don't take an action, most of the time you can just rush the center here. We're going to want to have that Beast Tamer going and dropping a breach on Aracel down the road, but he's going to go ahead and take the path to the right. Everybody else is going to go run down center. Female Knight is going to run down left. She's going to go ahead and break this thing here in case there's a fizz up in there. There was, thankfully, so that'll, she'll go ahead and take a quick little side step to go pick that up to help push her flank a little bit better. She's also an earth unit, so that'll end up helping out there. A lot of our heavy hitters are earth here, so we're going to be able to hit on weakness a bit better. We're going to try to take an archer up the right side there. We're going to try to push our, just all of our heavies down the very front here. We want to try to claim the main choke points before anyone else does. Nice 4% block. I'll take it. I think that was a 4% block. I don't know, something along those lines. Honestly, for all of the whole, like, oh, evasion does nothing type of stuff that gets said a lot, I feel like, honestly, the evasion odds are not really that bad. Now, yes, technically we're giving up a... Actually, no, I have the other lady who's going to be able to attack soon. We're going to go ahead and have Canopus go for the card first. I was thinking we need to have the other lady just hold off at the moment, but I think she does have the movement range to make that that move happen. One thing, like one little side note here that probably doesn't get particularly appreciated, it is nice that... Wait, she can't make the move, damn. Alright, well, anyways, whatever, try to carve through this guy. That's fine. Hawkeye shouldn't be too big of an issue to carve through. That lady can basically just be avoided. You can sometimes redirect him off to the sides a little bit, but for the most part you want to avoid that scenario right there. Not ideal, but our next thing will be to break through that bush over there on the right side. If you get both knights coming through the front, you definitely want to break the bush as quick as possible to try and push through, or you can actually shield bash. In this particular case, I probably could have skipped that movement. If I take a step forward right now with the fencer, whose turn is coming up relatively soonish, then we'll be able to make that happen a little faster. If you ever want to make your units go a little faster, just kind of general movement-wise, just make their next turn come up sooner. While they do have a cost for their main turn coming up, if you only take one tile of movement and nothing else, their next turn is going to be relatively quick. That's why I figured it was okay for that lady to take the movement that she did. We've got a strong elements attack over here versus this wind guy, so we can start pushing up the front there. And then ideally, what we want is for Denim to be able to start harassing their healer. As long as their healer is kept occupied, we can then surround and take out Aracel. Alright, no actions for you to take. Mr. Bird, would you like to go ahead and take this crit card, see if you can't actually start working on that healer a little bit sooner? He is putting himself in a bit of a dangerous position right now because he is currently, unfortunately, within firing range of Aracel. His defenses are not amazing considering his non-upgraded equipment and all that, but we'll be sorting that out in due time. Anyway, we want to get past this front line. We want to get these guys pushed out of the way as much as possible, and then we just kind of wait. If we can get that other knight up to attempt to recruit that bird, that'd be ideal. Hopefully soldier moves before night. Dang it, no, they don't. You know what? We're just going to have to attempt a long-range recruit. See if anything comes out of that. Probably going to be pretty low odds, but worth a shot. We're going to have him run down the center as a little bit of a distraction here. We've primarily claimed that center area. Yeah, bird guy should maybe be recruitable. Still 0%, whatever. Not ideal there. Those units can scatter around in a lot of different directions. That particular case did not work out particularly well. That's fine, though. We still have one unit that's running up and claiming the center. It still gives us a little bit more maneuver room here, so to speak. We can start working on getting their other units damaged over here. The reason we want to do this is because we want to redirect that healing once we can actually reach Aracel. We just want to have a few targets available that we can quickly drop them below 50% health, make them healing priority on the off chance that we can't take out the healer first. So that's what we're going to deal with at that point. Okay, that's perfectly fine, unless that drops a leaden. It did not. So in this case, we can go ahead and charge forward with you. He currently doesn't have money equipped, so that's not going to work terribly well. You go ahead and go this direction. He actually might have a firing angle on this cleric right now. No, unfortunately. All right, well, you do have one on this one. There we go. That'll do. All right. Health steely type of thing because he's got element advantage in that case. We've got you running forward. Are you within range? No, you're not. Alright, whatever. Just go after this guy. His whole deal is just to run up and drop a breach on Aracel. We're not going to need her assistance, or we're not going to need his assistance after a little bit here. For the time being, though, whatever we can do, we can do. What we want to do right now, though, is have him move over here, see if the knight can maybe heal him up a little bit to see if he can go in for one more snipe. Otherwise, we should be fine just charging forward. See if we can maybe recruit this cleric on our side. Go for the recruit, 5%. Whatever happens, happens. Worth a shot. We don't really have much control over the center right now. Bird's going to go ahead and escape. Honestly, that's fine. Whatever. We have you moving this way. We've got... Yeah, we do have the knight able to move forward here. Got a fizz up. He doesn't have any revive items. I don't believe I have any revive items on anyone but the tamer at the moment, which is still workable right now. Unfortunately, they are starting to get through the center here. We want to try to prevent that as much as possible. Again, it's not going terribly well, but whatever. We'll deal as it comes. Anyway, looks like Archer's going to go take some shots in that direction. That's fine. You do that. Yeah, they're starting to reclaim the center. Either way, let's go ahead and attempt to go for more versus you. Knight is getting his turn quite a while from now. Unfortunately, our own knight on the left there really shouldn't have dedicated to taking that card, but we should be able to take out the cleric right here. Let's go ahead and have Sarah circle him around, take that shot right there. That should be enough, and it is. Alright, so at this point, Aracel's basically starting to become a little bit exposed. She's probably going to go for a finisher, probably going to be a little bit aggressive. Yeah, there we go. She goes for a big hit right there. Slightly mistimed it. Again, I don't know if you heard the clicks. The first click didn't register, the second one was too late. Like, it feels like it's definitely a Switch controller thing. Maybe it's just a soft input or something along those lines, but either way. Alright, so next up, that guy went ahead and healed himself up. Unfortunate, but manageable. You are just going to take a quick shot at her, just to work on your skills a little bit. Next up, you are going to go right here and do absolutely nothing. Next up, you are going to, once again, just kind of go whack somebody with a hammer, I guess. He's not really doing anything too amazing at this second. Realistically, though, we have Aracel within our sights at the moment, so we can go ahead and drop the meat on her, and there we go. That should make her free pickings for all of the ranged units in range, so to speak. Alright. See if we can get us a free archer. It would be nice to have a wind archer at this point. So actually, one thing that's come up in the comments a decent bit is with the whole vice element thing. Now, I don't know if the starter choices maybe affect element or something along those lines. I know personally I've gone and I've tested it multiple different times, and he always seemed to follow that same element pattern I mentioned. But honestly, could be completely wrong. It wouldn't be the first time. So it's very possible that there's, you know, maybe it's just completely random, maybe there's more to it. I don't actually know, but folks have mentioned seeing different, kind of different elements showing up on them, so I guess we'll be surprised when we get there, won't we? Either way, one way or another, the actual route doesn't really change. We don't really go for trying to block his particular element in this section here. We go for trying to counter him during the duel, but for the actual vice fight that's coming up here, it's kind of a whatever factor. All right, they're still down over there. You're gonna go for the dark weight. Of course you will. We have somebody relatively far away, still within firing range for Denim there. Actually, Knight's gonna have an action pretty soon. Bird's gonna get to act before then, so let's maybe not do that. All right. That guy's gonna go do more health suck as you do. Go for the other one. Unfortunately, he's getting some really good odds with our team comp here. Everything's just kind of completely lining up in his favor. Let's see. What are your odds? You actually can make that shot. That's kind of amazing. Okay. Anyway, this is why we love archers. Like, as much as they get dunked on for, like, oh, their neutral damage is kind of iffy. I mean, yeah, sure, but at the same time, if you can make their damage land, you can get some really good results out of them. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. We got no extra units. We go into Raybone. Let's see. Let's go ahead and replace... Okay, we don't need the... Actually, we do want the Tamer for this one, because we're going to want Subdue here. We're going to attempt to subdue the one of the octopi. If it happens, it happens. This is just for this fight alone. We're never actually going to use them for anything else. Maybe worst case scenario, if we need some extra money, we can auction them down the road if we do get one. But for the time being, they're just kind of here for the hell of it. I should have swapped out that archer for a different one. I needed the lightning archer for this one. Oh well, spazzy inputs will happen. Okay, let's see. You're gonna do okay. I kind of want him to just build up some TP here because he's got some finishers going. Ideally, what we want is Tamer runs up, he attempts to recruit. Once again, we drop some breach on Zapan, and that'll kind of just be the end of that. Ideally. We do want to get the Terror Knight if we can, though that's just going to be a very, very kind of like D-tier objective in this particular fight. As good as Terror Knights are, they are a little bit on the clunkier side, which can occasionally make them a bit problematic when you want to get them into position. For the time being, they'll be fine where they are. I mean, if they're killed off, great. We already have one guaranteed Terror Knight that we're going to see over the course of this run, so that's what we want to be focusing on later down the road. For the time being, though, it's not too much of a factor. In fact, actually, I want to be... Shoot, hold on. I want to be pluming Canopus. Yep, almost forgot about that. So the reason for this, he's not attacking on elemental weakness or anything else. We don't have anything aside from Denim in this case that's going to be doing that. But realistically, we want to be at least trying to do that extra damage. Canopus is going to generally be the most stacked of the whole team. So he's going to be in the best position to end up lining up a shot here. If the others do it, fantastic, but for the time being, he's just going to be the most likely to do something. This archer is just going to sit here and support. Again, she is quite literally fire support. So she'll fire whatever she can, probably fired some of the squishies. Again, I needed to switch her out for the lightning one so that she can be dropping hundreds on these octopi, but whatever. It's fine. Got a little bit too busy talking. These things occur. Currently, we want to try to push ahead while Ch2 is up here in front. The reason for this is it's going to basically cause the enemies to de-aggro and kind of chase her around a little bit. Which yeah, would be pretty handy in this instance. Let's go ahead and leave you. For the most part, we're going to try to leave the octopi alone. There's really not a whole lot of... there's not going to be too much of a reason to try to kill them all off. They just have really high health pools, and right now we just kind of want them out of the way. So we'll do it if we can, but for the time being, mostly we're trying to set up for other things. The reason that I'm having Denim repeatedly fire at stuff despite not having very good exchanges is to build him up for a finisher. So we'll get there when we get there. We can actually just go ahead and breach this one to get through them a little bit faster. We'll probably pick up more breach bottles as time goes on. Probably could have easily replaced this Berserker here as well, because we do not have a lot of movement range here. But, well, alright, give this guy a little bit of an axe question if you do. Would be good to unlock his finisher as well, so that he has access to some other things, but blah blah blah. We kind of want to work on these guys until we can start getting additional units recruited, which, again, if we can get that Terranite, this is around the point when they start seeing more skills showing up, they start seeing more ranks and things like that. So if you have access to that, that's wonderful. Frighten is not ideal, so he's basically out of commission for the next 3 rounds. But that doesn't mean we can use him for aggro purposes, and we can, well, whatever. We'll continue winging it as we do. Alright, so he's going to continue moving up that way. You're going to heal. Next up, you are going to go here, claim this card. Do you still have a firing solution on you? Yes, you do. Okay, good. Do that then. Alright. Next up, we got you. Currently that one's breached. This one is not. Just go ahead and do that. Nice. And a nice lucky crit. Again, we're just looking to carve through. We're not trying to go for kills in particular, but we might as well throw out the damage while we're currently lining up here. Yeah. Might as well take advantage of your low health at this point. Come bonk. Alright. Next up, you're gonna go ahead and, right, you have the Draught instead of the other one. I needed to get some grog. That is a thing for another time. Remember to get the grog on the dude. His fear is the butts. But, oh well. Again, we'll deal as we'll deal. That slightly flat trumpet sound, by the way, on this theme in particular, always kind of bugs me a little bit. It's like it's not too big of a deal, but it's just like it's slightly flat that one time. Also, we're going to do a little bit of a risk here. Going to pick up the double crit. Reason for this? Yes. Anyway, let's move on. No, the reason for it is I figure there's only potentially one attack coming from that direction, barring something like an Aqua Blast or something along them lines. And I figure if we can maybe recruit this guy, then he's going to be totally safe there. So this is a complete and thorough YOLO approach here, but if it happens, it happens. This would, if this guy gets hired, this would be the second time I've seen this guy named Burnden, by the way. Yeah, actually, no, the first, well, the second, yeah, it would still be the second time he was named Burnden, but there was, the very first one I had was Paul, the Terranite that got killed off during that one stream. But, oh well, he got nuked off a cliff. No, stop, he's already spoked. Rude. Well, either way, the knight can just continue pursuing him. Yeah, we're kind of getting a little bit iffy on our setups here, but whatever. We will continue to do as we do. It seems like we got a pretty good shot on this lizard. This is actually another one of those cases where a lizard recruit would not be out of the question, but it's just not going to happen right now. Alright. Next up, let's focus you down a little bit more. There's a good chance of recruiting that one anyway. I'm not going to say it's a great chance, but it's a chance for sure. Go after you. Attempt to go for the ridiculously long-range subdue here. Yeah. That one was never going to land, but if we can get him slightly closer, then maybe there's a chance for a recruit. Only because they're very, very handy as far as just kind of immediately turning fights around. You can just have a lot of extra boulders and a lot of extra health to work with. So they're basically like heavy archers for all intents and purposes. They also, since most of their stuff comes from inbuilt attack instead of a weapon, they also have a tendency to scale extremely well with cards. Anyway, this Berserker will continue wondering why the hell I even bring him along. As you do, of course. Alright, we got Mighty Impact here. I don't believe this guy has a thingy on him, but whatever. Critical. If we get some kind of finisher on Denim, this would certainly help matters out a little bit. Let's see, we got 73 on you, we got a 37 on you, let's just do that. I really need to check his skill, but right now it's just when it appears, it appears. Got one unit running low over there on the top. Warrior's running low. Canopus is running low. It would be real nice to pick up that card with him, but we're going to have him go in this direction. See if he can maybe harass somebody. Let's go for 110. I suppose it's at least damage. It's something he can land right now, and it's relatively safe. Alright, you're going to do exactly nothing. Fantastic. We're setting up real good right now. Alright, next order of business. You go after this guy. Why? Because it blocks his movement. Which means that there is no chance that he can, well, hopefully no chance that he's even going to be able to reach Canopus under any means. Then you go ahead and go attack here, and hopefully get the recruit. This would end up saving us a couple of extra turns on actually going and killing this guy, but whatever, we get what we get. Alright, we got him. We'll go ahead and load him up with his needed abilities next. Alright, this time around, we've got Zapan roughly in our sights. We can get a breach going on him. We got a Terror Knight moving in over here. Does he have any healing items? No, he only has Heavy Axe. I've recruited this guy so many times I really should know that by now, that he's literally only Heavy Axe. He doesn't even have any spells on him. Okay, plate damage from you. We just need to get that breach going. If we can get that breach going on Zapan, we can quickly mop this up. Alright, get you out of the way. Perfect. Tremendous. Should be able to finish off the lizard. Goodbye. Yeah, if that rolled high, there was maybe a possibility. I think they were maybe a couple points shy, but oh well. Alright. Trigger over there. Alright. As much as I want to go for that other guy, we need to get this breach going. Roll 2. Right. Oh shoot. Sorry, I have my I tried to like swivel around my controller and had it backwards. Okay. Next up, we finally got our attacks going here, so 127. We can go ahead and upgrade that weapon pretty soon here. Actually, let's go ahead and block you out of the equation entirely. Just give you one extra move to go along here. I find it funny when they put away their shield, and they kind of like put it away a little bit sideways, so it kind of looks like they're tucking it back in their pocket, which I think is partly due to the like, sword sheathing animation. This kind of looks funny. Doesn't really affect anything. Okay, next order of business. Goodbye. There's one less unit to deal with. If only they ever dropped a Patriarch mark. They're not actually a Patriarch, but it would be nice if they did. You know? Alright, I need to remember to load up on some revival items after this. Alright, so he goes after him. He's got the ice weakness hit on air in that particular case. You've got that. We actually might be able to get our archer in position to start fighting here, provided they survive this. Especially due to that additional knockback. That's actually pretty handy. Okay. That way. You're the one with the heal, so you go ahead and heal you. I figure they're probably going to be in the best position to attack right now. You might have a chance to attack out of water. Actually, no, you can go right here, and you've got the nice little card boost as well as the crit boost, so we might actually see some good numbers off of this. If I can stop jumping around menus like a complete freaking spaz. There we go. Nice. Fan-freaking-tastic. But again, see, there's so many different multipliers and things like that. This is why we don't exactly focus on stats, because you can multiply crappy stats into something amazing, but you really can't multiply amazing stats if you don't have anything to multiply it with, you know? And generally speaking, you can't multiply those stats into a time save unless you've already got them on hand. Like, it's just one of these cases where it just kind of constantly loops back into, well, there was just a faster way to do this. Alright. He doesn't have any spells on him. Just go for the bow. He's very close to getting knocked out. He's like 60-ish damage away. I'm gonna go for the Tremendous. Might be able to long-range snipe this. Come on. Yes, and we're done here. Beautiful. All right. He's got his pincer, he's got his Fearful Impact. We're actually going to do a little bit of a tricky thing here. Actually, right, we only get our crafted options after our next one. You, first of all, you get spells, you get sleep. This is why we didn't care about replacing the sleep guy earlier. Next, you get a War Ring. Next up, this archer gets a War Ring. And next up, Sarah is going to become... Actually, no, we've already got Polmia. They're going to do the job just fine. Need to go ahead and put a this on you and put a this on you. We've got a Fire Ninja coming up next. In fact, you're going to go ahead and take a plume at this point. We don't have any plumes. Alright, fantastic. Next up, you get your Ice Blast too, as well as your heal, and away we go. Alright, let's get our crafting options. Alright, Sarah's pretty good. We're going to need to replace our Knight back here with our other Archer. Replace Kinnison with yet another Archer. Reason for this, we only need to take out the leader in this next map. His defense is absolutely trashed here, but oh shoot, this is Vance. One of these days I'll remember that this is Vance and not the ninja guy. One of these days, I swear. Until then, you know. Oh boy. Alright, well, anyway, let's wing it. We're preparing for the wrong one. Yeah, Vance is actually a little bit of a tank, so that's going to be a fun process. Okay, so tricks for this one. First of all, we have Canopus. We need to use Canopus to recruit that fairy up there, which actually that probably should be my point for actually remembering this. We need to try and make sure that Aerosol survives, but we want to somehow save her from killing that fairy. But we'll get to that when we get to it. In the meantime, we want to get a finisher on Mr. Denim. We want to get some breaches going, and we want to again just make sure that we recruit that fairy. It's, while not completely mandatory and not exactly the thing the run is going to be hinging on, it is something that's going to be incredibly handy. Their odds to charm are completely separate from their odds to actually hit, which means that they can actually, in a lot of cases, it'll be something along the lines of like 10% chance to hit for the actual attack itself, but then they charm anyway. So that's pretty handy to have there. I feel like if somebody's doing this mouse and keyboard, they could end up doing these commands a little bit faster, but then at the same time would have to learn to do mouse and keyboard, so maybe not. I just like my clickety-clacks, you know? Alright. This isn't the one that we actually needed the tamer for, but whatever. I need to double-check that he's still got stocks for his breaches. I think he does. Pretty positive that he does. Alright. Upwards and onwards, as you do. Take a heal there, you go forward. We want to take out their archers as quickly as possible, because those are going to be the main ones that they're going to be going after. Yes, this is not an ideal matchup that we're taking right there. That's on purpose. Yeah, let's go ahead and have you attack this gremlin over here. He still doesn't have his skills, but again, it's fine. We'll deal. We want to have Canopus ideally approaching that fairy as quickly as possible. She's going to be relatively damaged, but still we'll have to do for the time being. Next up, we need to have you breached, because we need him out of here as quickly as possible. And then we'll need to go ahead and drop some breaches elsewhere as well. P1U, one more arrow should sort that out in just a moment. Next up, we take our preemptive heal on Canopus, because he's going to have to leave support range for a little bit. You finish off the gremlin. Probably should have just only fired with her, to be honest. I definitely didn't need to double dip on that particular instance. Yeah. Would have been nice for that to be a miss, but whatever, I'll take it. At least they got some counter damage back. We don't necessarily need her to completely win this, but it would be very helpful. Alright. Again, Canopus's main goal is just YOLOing that fairy as best he can, because he wants to get her on the team. We need that AoE charm. She's not going to be doing too much useful aside from just kind of general support type of stuff until, I think it was like level 12-ish or so. She's pretty close to getting her charm move, but whenever the hell it pops up, we're just kind of on the tail end of Chapter 2 is when we're going to be equipping that there. And that'll be a massive game changer, especially for the castle fights, where you can just kind of come in and just immediately turn a fight around. So, anyway, let's see, we've got Earth. Nothing for you to take advantage of. Just go ahead and hit this guy, I guess. Probably should have gone for the other one, because he's the one with the breach, but I didn't, so good job, idiot. Anyway, let's see, 25. Do you have any angle with Ice Blast? Yes, you do. Should be on the island right now. Alright. Go for that. Yes, I'm hitting the completely wrong target. Don't worry about it. I'm just getting into position right now. Alright. Just attack this. Vance isn't going to charge just yet, so this gives us a few rounds to quickly try and mop things up in his little shanty town in the middle of the swamp here. Good block. Didn't block that one. Oh well. Okay, now we've got Meditate 2. We've got air going on nothing at the moment. Just go for the shield on you. I'm just kind of getting her a little bit out of the way here. Let's see, we've got water. Got some lightning here. Let's go ahead and drop it on you. Low odds, but I'll take it. You go ahead and do your odd noises, I guess. There we go, he is toast. Our next target is going to be the fairy, so we need to try and recruit her ASAP. Get some ice here, drop it on you. Perfect. Alright. Let's go and drop one on you as well. His natural defenses are going to be high enough to overcome that breach. Basically, just their defense whole situation is a long story and works differently. Just monster defense and equipment defense are entirely different. I just think of it as like the arrow gets stuck in their fat, basically. Yes, they're a rock. How do they have fat? I know. I'm just saying, like, that's mentally how I categorize it. Okay. Axe on you. Ask on you. Come on, join. Nice. Anyway. Sad coffee sip. Okay, anyway, Fairy is back in good condition. I wouldn't worry about her too much for the time being. You are going to go ahead and attack this one. We want to maybe attempt a recruit on possibly that knight if we can. We could use another heavy. For the time being, though, we can't really risk that maneuver. So we'll get to it when we get to it. Alright. Let's see, we got lightning on the water. Do we have any water available? Yes, we have this knight. Not a good shot. Shouldn't have taken it. Next up, we got water on nothing right now. Let's see. Any good shots for you? Whatever. Just do that. That is fine. Alright. Vance is in range? Or he's almost in range. Crap. Anyway, go ahead and take that one then. Get into position. Accept that your buff cards are gone, and move on. Actually, no, you're going to go over here because Vance is probably going to charge forward. He's got ice. He's going to go after Canopus, almost guaranteed, so... We want to see about getting this knight recruited, though, so you injure the knight, move forward, move out of the way, block here. You go for the tremendous, you've got fire, you need to hit on ice, get rid of this guy. Yep, once we can get rid of all these rampant auras, it'll give us a pretty big push to actually kind of clean our way through here. For the time being, though, we're just going to have to deal. Alright. Let's have you move forward. Go ahead and kind of heal up Aerosol just to be certain. It's going to slow us down a little, but again, no part of this is going terribly well right now. Take your swing, take your card, and let's move on. You know, if this is going to be a complete, total worst-case scenario run, I'm actually kind of okay with that. Kind of gives a lot more to work on later on. Alright, bad placement for that, for the meat boy over there, but anyway. Axe on you, ask on you. Join. Alright, well... Unfortunate. If he goes down, I didn't load up a backup plan for this, so we're just going to go for other plan and attempt to just take out Vance. Currently, I would expect, roughly speaking, it's going to take about 3-4 attacks to deal him in. Alright, let's get this one. He's pretty friggin' low. Anyway, go, carve through him, move on. Start claiming a little bit more territory. Again, hopefully we'll be doing this a little bit better. That fairy's dead. Really? Alright, well, he went for him instead. That's actually pretty handy. Because it actually allows us to double dip in this instance and potentially just go for the recruit. Alright. I'll take it. Let's see. Knight is over there. We can't really push him towards the knight particularly well. Alright. If it happens, it happens, I guess. Alright, let's see if we can actually tempt him away from attacking Canopus in this case. Putting him right here should pull him forward for a long-range spike, and then he should hopefully go for the one with lower defense, but we'll see how that plays out. Let's see, you're going to resist this, but that doesn't particularly matter, because Sarah rolled some pretty good numbers, apparently. Alright, go for that one. Heal Captain Cantaloupe over here, and away we go. There's going to be one return. Are you going to survive it? Yes, you will. Okay, we have a pretty good chance of getting that Berserker on our team. She's going to take out the Amazon. That's fine. The Amazons are just for heavy hitters. As long as we're not losing any recruiters. Okay, that plan worked. Beautiful. Okay, so next up, you're going to go and do the same thing you've been doing, except this time you're doing it slightly from over here now. So he will continue overpowering this guy. Unfortunately, we don't have any recruiters to kind of capitalize on this at the moment. There's not any recruiters that are going to be long range at this point. Anyway, take the 25, go over here, take the Fizz card, do the recruit. While I would have preferred something a little bit more ideal, it'll do. Anyway, we got our Fairy. Perfect. We got the Fairy. I'd like one more of the melee units to replace some of the garbage that we've been running around with. See what we can get. 27%. Roll it. Beautiful. Alright, let's finish this. Right, he is breached, but he'll gladly take Nice Class 2. We've got 68. We don't have any... We've got a Fire Longbow in the back. If we can get Sarah up, that'll assist quite a decent bit. You just take a shot to raise your skills up. And by the way, I'm not having them face backwards for any particular reason. I'm just kind of immediately kind of starting the turn for the next unit, so if you see anybody turning in a weird direction, that's why. Alright. Ursula's going to take a shot somewhere. Perfect, whatever. As long as she doesn't die, we're... I mean, again, we're fine one way or another, but we're a little bit more fine. We're going to take the shot right here, because hopefully this should knock him out of the swamp tile. There we go, that's fine. So it's just basically going to add 10 damage. Alright. You should have your lightning bow. A pretty number on him too. Really what we want is finishers, but we don't have all of them ready to go just yet. Alright, take your tremendous, take your big shot, and there we go. Nice clean 100 over there. Yeah, the lightning and water archers rolled some pretty dicey numbers. I think we're probably going to let him go first. One thing at a time, though. Should have a roughly like 10% on you. Yeah, 11. Take it. Get the shot. Alright. Next up, we want to be pressuring this archer over here. Oh, you're a claw guy. That actually could be pretty handy. Because I want to have a poison claw guy down the road. You know what? At this point, this isn't even a speed thing. He just wants to win this duel. Whatever. Alright. Alright, good. He's got his finisher, he's got his double fizz ups. It is time for this dude to get airdropped. 254. Beautiful. Again, this is why we use Vartan as the card guy. Everyone else gets whatever they get. The Vartan is the only one with the movement in a speedrun setting to bother actually going for all those cards. Anyway. Terrible overall, like... Okay, not 100% terrible, but pretty darn close to terrible in terms of remembering, execution, all of that. But whatever, we got through it, so let's go ahead and carry on here. Do you want to join? Yes, you want to join. Do you want to join? Hell yeah, you want to join. And she's going to come with BOS equipped, meaning we don't have to go through that menu. Okay. So, here's what to do. First of all, Fairy, you are going to equip a different weapon in your main hand. Actually, no, you're going to be fine with that. You're going to get a short bow in your offhand. You're going to go bows over here. You're going to get meditate. You're going to go ahead and put your bows over here. Selfless, you're going to replace with pumpkin. Also, I'm going to remember to actually put meditate instead of the other one. We're going to get rid of one magic leaf here because you won't be needing it. Instead, you'll be wanting to get a Zolia draw just in case. Long story, we'll get to that when we get to it. Next thing, we want to go ahead and give you a war ring, and we want to go ahead and give you a little bit more dexterity. Moving on, next thing, you want to actually have the right stuff equipped. So there we go, give you your ring. I was asked if I was forgetting to put rings on people. Not necessarily. In some cases, like if somebody's not worth keeping around, I don't want to deal with dealing with their equipment down the road, so we'll deal with that. Anyway, we'll now go ahead and do our quick shop visit here. We'll go ahead and do all of our crafting. Again, pardon the crappy execution, but let's do as we do. First of all, let's go ahead and make a few of these. Next up, we want to go to the store. We want to buy some books. So we'll go ahead and buy the ranged weapons, armor, jewelry, all of that. We probably won't be making jewelry, but whatever, it's like half a second. Realistically, it's not going to be the type of optimization that we need. Okay, first things first. We want to get a rapier +1. We want to get a Ch2 +1, except we want 3 of them. We want to get a Volge. What on earth is that noise over there? I have no friggin' idea. Anyway, we want to go ahead and do that. Next up, we'll go ahead and craft upgrades for him. So first of all, technically speaking, we really should have crafted all of them from the actual thing first, instead of grabbing them. I thought that's what I was doing. I was distracted by a... there's some kind of weird crinkly sound that's happening off in the background here, and it's just kind of weirding me out. Alright. There we go. Get all these made. Then we're going to want some Volges, aka the best friggin' weapon there is. I was asked constantly if these weapons are good into the end game. Oh yeah, they're fantastic into the end game. Alright, those are fine. We're going to want some short bows. Those will be enough. Maybe equip 1 extra, just kind of for the hell of it, because they're super cheap. Next up, armor-wise, we are going to want to equip some, get all of our sleeves equipped. Alright, a little bit iffy on the actual sleeve stuff here. Let's go ahead and sell a few things on the armor department. If you didn't know, it's square up or your equivalent in order to sell all of them at once. We don't want to buy more, we want to craft more, in which case we want to go over here. We want to upgrade all equipped. What do you say? So basically we'll just give us everything that we need right away. Right. Next up, armor-wise, we're going to want a bunch of circlets. Crap, we're too broke for that. Oh well, you know what, we'll craft circlets later. Moving on. Okay. Alright, so you've got that, you've got your sleeves, you got this stuff over here. Later on down the road, we'll wing it if it comes to that. You need a revive item, first of all. We might need those later, but for now, you want 2 of them. Actually, I just figured out what that noise is that's in the background. We have like a friggin' snowpocalypse going on in the background, so... Anyway, that magic leaf, by the way, is going to be a setup, not for now, but for ages from now. You're going to get 1 equip item. You're going to get a Ch2. Next one is going to be... let's see. Actually... Yeah, whatever. Let's get you getting with a Ch2. I was going to use that Terror Knight, but we're going to just leave that for the time being. Next up, you want to upgrade to literally anything else. Really should have upgraded his axe to something better, but screw it. Bows should already be equipped. You've got your stuff over here. This needs to be a grog if we got one. We didn't get one this time around. Alright, in fact, let's do this. You go ahead and get a heavy axe instead. You go ahead and get your battle axe instead. It will improve our stuff very slightly. That attack bonus is not going to be major by any stretch of the imagination. Next up, we want Volge. And we want to go ahead and switch this over to spears. Yes, he's going to be restarting his weapons training. Don't worry about it. Next up, we want to have you running around with... you know what, screw it. You are going to go ahead and become a fencer. Or a Valk in this case. Logic behind this being that we want to kind of improve our odds of breaching everything. So, we actually need to equip 1 more skill on the other units when we get there. So first of all, spears. Second of all, meditate. Third of all, HP. That's pretty good there. Next up, you. If you can equip it. I don't think you guys have vigorous yet. Unfortunately, no. But whatever. Constitution will do for the time being. And let's go ahead and rock this. After this, we'll be swapping out a couple of the archers to get that fairy into play. But we need this ninja guy going. And he is a little bit dangerous. So, this will be one of the last big outings for the Beast Tamer. He will have a chance to finally retire a little bit, in a little bit. I'm actually thinking maybe just to speed things up, we might actually just keep him in play, the more that I think about it. But we'll see. Alright, you got your finisher. That's what I was checking on. Man, yeah, it's getting noticeably colder, actually. For the longest time, all day today, I was like, why on earth is everything closing? It's not, it doesn't feel terribly threatening. But the more that it goes on, the more cold it gets. Alright. You're going to meditate, you're going to move this way. Again, the spears are basically like a death mark on stuff. Eventually we'll work in, Vigorous, in order to get more coming out of that, but one thing at a time. Okay. Fire one, you're just going to drop a number. It's kind of whatever they can do. I realize that's a missed shot. Oh well, too late to back out of the input now. So what we want to do is charge forward and then immediately pull back. So we're just going to throw out a few shots here and there, just roll for the stun chance on the SB. So short bow equipped for the stun chance. We throw that out there as kind of like a Hail Mary every now and then. The longbows are going to be doing a decent bit of punch at this point. They're mostly firing to get their finishers up a little bit faster. And then additionally, the spears are for breach for obvious reasons. So we're looking to just kind of tag stuff with the spears. If they get the breach, great. We're going to move one forward to hopefully attempt to get the ninja. We're going to try to get a few breaches going on this dragon. There is an opportunity to hire the dragon at this point. But again, if we don't get it, we don't get it. It's honestly perfectly fine. I'm going to drop that on you, give you the MP card so you get your finisher a little bit sooner. He doesn't have anything to exploit fire at this point. So we'll do exactly nothing on that. Anyway, one more breach weapon, roll for that breach. I saw another comment coming up asking, like, oh, why would you roll a chance for breach? You know, you can take guaranteed damage on bigger numbers, and again, I figured it was kind of common knowledge at this point, but yeah, any 100% hit move will guarantee a secondary, meaning that the warriors are going to be guaranteeing those breaches, and then they will further be able to guarantee the breaches on the spears as well once we get Vigorous into the team, so oh well. I only bring it up because like there's several really long-winded comments going on about how good damage is, and it's the only thing anyone should ever focus on. It's like, dude, chill. There's so many other mechanics. Why are we playing like that? Okay. Anyway, so let's see. We're not nearly within range of this ninja, so you go ahead and go over here. You go ahead and let's kind of axe this guy a little bit. Alright, next up, ninjas over that away. We can actually take this crit card. We actually might see some pretty good numbers out of a Ice Blast in this case. Ridiculously low odds to hit, but whatever. We've rolled far lower than 27% up to this point. Anyway, we're going to drop whatever we can on him. His team does have a few healing items. But for one thing, Aircell's probably going to take care of that dragon right now, or at least come close, or just attack something completely random. Okay, cool. That works too. Anyways, I don't even know what to make of that, to be honest. There we go, we got a skill up. Let's see if we can get our cards going up a little bit, see if we can get our finishers rolling. But no, I forget what the hell I was getting at. Probably something, but as soon as we get breach on this guy, he's toast. Alright, we're going to take a mighty impact. We're going to go ahead and guarantee that breach. We're going to start circling in for another breach. We might not even need to throw the thing, but we'll see what we get. This might be better to drop elsewhere. There is the option of firing it out now. But there's a better chance of dropping a potential 100 damage stun over here, which is certainly an option. Alright, instead we're going to follow up on this guy. If they've got healing, hopefully they'll waste it on themselves. I know the birds carry some healing. This is actually one of those cases where I know for certain that he's got a variable party that can come in, because there's just a bunch of different spawns that can show up. Again, there are exceptions to pretty much everything, but just so you know, that is a thing that can happen. Alright, we're going to go ahead and deal with this dragon right here. Again, you probably can bring in Tame on some future run. As it stands, I do plan to do a few runs of this. I figure the way that I've set this up here is that if you set up a new profile on a Switch, which I do plan to switch over to PC at some point, but if you set up a new profile on a Switch, you can have you know, a new 100 save files for the purposes of a speedrun. And this also means that you can potentially do that fun little thingamajig where you basically just save immediately instead of having to pick a save slot. If you're wondering why exactly the original saves were gone, no, I didn't delete them, I just made a new profile. That was about it. Okay, so next up, yeah, he's he probably, you know what, actually no, just go for the false strike, because if he misses, that'd be pretty handy right now. Go for that. Doesn't seem like they're going to want to heal this guy that much. You take the Tremendous. He still can parry Tremenduses. He is running 2 one-handers. Still, though, he's a relatively squishy boss. Your long-range snipers can deal with him pretty effectively. For the time being, though, they're just going to fire and train as they do. Like, I wouldn't expect even Tremendous off the water one's going to do that much. Yeah, it's only 4. Because he's not breached yet. Let's move you right here. Sorry, I was trying to determine whether or not there was anything in that tile. That honestly would have been easier just to click on it. Oh, he's frickin' burr. Clicking on the completely wrong tile, as you do. 141. If you go right here, you can take the crit card. You can go ahead and drop a big finisher on him. This might end it right here. It won't, actually. It's not enough. It's gonna be pretty good, though. Alright. Come on, aim for him. Or go for the random bird. That's fine, too. It's like she's constantly going through this thing. There can only be one archer. There can only be one. Of course, you... double parry. Honestly, that's kind of just impressive. And that is one of those cases where it kind of makes me wonder if 2 swords does make you more likely to parry. Like, I've seen one sword parry both ways too, but it always feels like that should be a mechanic, you know? Anyway. Doesn't look like we're getting anything out of that particular equation. We've got Denim coming up. He might be able to crit shot, maybe. But it looks like we're going to be blue-balled into another round here, unfortunately. Alright, at least they're not dropping any big heals. It was definitely frustrating for the solo when there were those cases where you would just constantly come back with more heals. Alright. And he's running off. Okay, cool. Dandy dandy, you take a shot. What are you gonna do? 4. Alright, whatever. Fine. I will miss the timing on that yet again. Continue blaming the controller on that, I suppose. Alright. Alright, Simon, I'm gonna need you to throw the best throwing rock you've ever thrown. Bam. See, they said you can't beat bosses with a friggin' rock throw. What are you talking about? Alright, got our ninja marks at that point. This does give us access to Benumb, which we should have picked up earlier. It's very handy for the Vice fight, but as it stands, we're just gonna charge. Alright, that's all good. Away we go. Alright, we are going to replace you with you, and we're going to replace... Simon is going to go up here. You're going to go down this way. Fire stays you. We're going to be replaced with Burnton. Burnton, you're going to get some spells and things. You're also going to get a better heal. You're also going to get a Jewel of the Avatar, and away we go. There is logic behind this. Because there's a pretty decent chance that we're going to use him as the fear bait, and then attempt to use dodge to hopefully keep him surviving another round or two. We'll see. Now, if we wanted Dragoons, we would have access to Dragoons over there on the right. As it stands, we do not necessarily need that. So normally I would say for a regular run, just go ahead and go for the Dragoon. They're right there. As it stands for this one, not really going to be super necessary. What I want to do right here is set up a case where that guy wants to circle around the right or the left side, and then hopefully right into the waiting arms of our friendly neighborhood beast tamer, who will then attempt to make a new friend. Hopefully we can stun him so that he's not being a threat to us, but whatever. If he is, he is. Alright. From there, we can also go and get our breach going on our vice guy, simply because he cannot resist it. So there's that. Anyway, he's only got one breach left in the tank, which is actually perfectly fine. This is why we bought as many as we did earlier. We're going to go ahead and cut through some of this grass to give us a little bit more breathing room here. Normally, I like taking advantage of a choke point right here, but we want to rush him down as much as we can, so we're instead going to be going down this way. You're going to go ahead and break this grass. Technically, yes, a throwing rock would be faster, but going and clicking over to the throwing rock can take a little bit longer. So, you know, that's a factor. Okay. So, shoot. Shooty shoots happen. This is actually when I remember to double check whether or not I'm even recording this. Okay, yes, I am. This is good. Okay. First of all, you attempt to go for the breach to make this recruit happen a little bit faster. You did not nail it. Oh, well. Again, we are only rolling a chance roll on these for the time being. This will change later to the one that keeps popping up, complaining about chance rolls. I say that one, there's like 20, but... Alright. Anyway. We're going to go ahead and pick up a card. I'm going to go ahead and fire. And the reason that we're having her pick up a card is because she's actually got access to a finisher. We never did check what element Vice is, actually. Whatever, we'll check that in a moment. He is wind, so he's going to be weak to ice in this particular case. In this case, we don't need to actually change his element whatsoever. He can just keep rock and ice. That works out perfectly, and it would have been nice if you got hired, but well. Alright, anyway, back to full screen mode, so I'm not playing on this little tiny window. Right, next up you take a shot on their cleric. We want to have this cleric ideally disabled to some degree as quickly as possible. Alright, again, he will not be charging for the time being, so that's not a concern. All we need to do is land a breach, curb stomp him, and we can go home. Alright, do that. Get a cleric, not going to be any problem to deal with. Just to give them something else to deal with, we're just going to drop another 145 right here. Again, remember, even if there's a unit that you're not finishing off, that is going to be potentially more work for them to deal with in the future, so just something to bear in mind. Just always give them more stuff to focus on, you know? Just kind of overwhelm the mind of the robot, so to speak. Right. Next up, you're going to be taking control of the avatar. See if you can maybe bait out the fear on the right side. Hopefully we can go ahead and block that pretty soon. Now, if we can get the Cyclops, great. Basically, when it comes to the Cyclops, AoE stun is going to be a big time saver if we can get it. I wouldn't expect that we'll be able to. We don't have very much time to do so. But the Tamer isn't really doing much else at this point, so we might as well. In fact, I'm kind of tempted to switch the Tamer over to Shortbow in a little bit here. Have him switch over to full range support, but again, we'll deal with that as the time comes. Alright, there we go. Pumpkin Lore doing its job for the time being. Right. Next up, we need to see some Heart Crusher going on. Okay, that's not going to be enough for what we're looking for right now. We need some BOS going on. Get some better shots coming out of Aerosol, because she's probably going to focus down their Cleric, and we need that happening. Alright, next up, I actually want to see if this Archer wants to join us. They seem to be dropping some pretty solid numbers. And then after that, we can start focusing on Vice. Perfect. See, and there we go. He basically just did like several hundred damage with a off-action move. Tell me that's just not plain beauty. Okay. Next up, see if this Dragoon wants to join us. Odds are probably going to be like 4 or 5%. Called it, 4%. In this particular case, it was just for the purpose of helping with this one fight. In the case of that archer, I just want to have additional range support in the back there. If we have a dragoon, that might be potentially useful to switch into at some point. Yes, we did just kill off our own archer. Just ignore that. That's just a little detail. Don't worry about it. 10%. And what do we got? Nothing? Beautiful. Okay, so next up, tremendous shot. We take out that cleric. She hasn't really moved back any since last time, so this should be a slam dunk. And it is a slam dunk to the grave. There we go. Man, fantastic. And moving right along. Let's see. We need to see Vice getting breached. So, if there's any possibility, yeah, you collect another card. Realistically, I don't expect her to be doing very much. You go ahead and collect this. We're going to go ahead and lower the odds of this right here. Or improve the odds, sorry. Reason for this is if he can go ahead and recruit, that actually would end up improving his turn quite a bit because he'd be able to sneak right past and go breach Vice. So that is the ideal after all. So if we get some breach spreading out of that, it seems like they would have been dead one way or the other. Actually, we can go ahead and get the breach off of the Mighty Impact right here. So this is really about the point that we can start retiring the Tamer. Another team, just don't crit it, and you're fine. See if we get a new friend here. 36%. Don't see us doing much better than that. And there we go. That's going to be exactly nothing. Oh well. Then he has chosen death. Alright. Next up, Fearful Impact. We want that on the dragon. Basically, when it comes to the dragon, they've got a breach move with his breath. We want to at least have his damage reduced, so that hopefully he's going for way squishier targets. There we go. That'll do just fine. Again, probably Pumpkin Lore at work there, but whatever. She's just going to do some shooting. Right. Vice is currently within range of several different attack types, so that should help out quite a bit. Alright. Didn't manage to dodge the Heart Crusher, which is a bit of a shame, but I won't. Okay. I think he probably picked up some Fizz cards or something. He's got some pretty unusual numbers flying out of that Heart Crusher. Right. Anyway, we just need to pile everything on old Vicey over there. Except for you, you're going to go for the Recruit. Actually, right, I guess that's a kill, isn't it? Oops. They got recruited to death, I'm afraid. Right, drop 36, get parried. Naturally. Alright. We've got the breach, we've got the fizz ups, we've got some other stuff, we got this thing with the dark weight. This and the cherry top should see the job done. What kind of cherry tops we got coming up? Looks like we got the fencer. Yeah, just do the fencer through this. Done. I was expecting a little bit more out of him, actually. Oh well. One more cherry tap then. I would laugh if that was the thing that did it. Unfortunately, it was not. Anyway, Beast Tamer just over there being all sad, like, I don't get it, I was gonna recruit the guy. Now he's dead. What happened? My odds were so good. That one lady got like a 3%. What gives? Like, well, low odds are gonna low odds, man. I don't know what to tell you. Counter? And we're done here, right? Almost. Fine. How about you don't parry this, yeah? You complete ass. It's like that sometimes, you know? Alright, what do we got coming up? Archer. Okay, Archer will get the job done. Alright, come on. We got stuff to do. See this chumpo dead, yeah? Beautiful. Frickin' parry. What even is that? Alright. Wants to join. Ooh, I like the look of that dex, though. There comes Aerosol with even better decks. Okay, we got a lot of archers. That'll do the job okay, I suppose. What is going on with my controls? Okay, that was weird. Sorry, I don't know what that was all about. Alright, so for this one we want to have a lot of air. Specifically, we're going to want that fairy up front, and we are hopefully going to be able to swap her out at this point. For the smooch, we do not have the smooch. That is unfortunate. Okay, whatever. That's fine. We'll switch her out for blowguns for a secondary thing there. We don't want her pumpkin luring because she's going to be our DPS. We need air. Do we have any air archers? No. I think I'm going to swap out Aerosol right here, and just for the simple case of it'll be easier to remember, she is now going to become our air archer. Beautiful. Alright, additionally, we are going to go ahead and put Constitution right there, and we're also going to be upping her dex a little bit. Beautiful. Okay, so we don't need Eddard over here, we need a recruiter. We'll put Coulson up front, that'll do fine, he needs a heal. We don't have any? Fine, screw it. We got 11 deployed by mistake. Miles, let's get you out of here. Actually, we don't need you. Replace you with probably another Archie. Actually, replace you with... yeah, just leave him in there. Fine, screw it, whatever. Let's roll. I forgot, this is why I meant to pick up the Dirk earlier. Basically, you pick up the Dirk to have a chance to silence with regular attacks, and then you also got the Heart Crusher, and blah 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 blah. Oh well. Will deal. Okay. So we got hundreds out of Aerosol. Yeah, Canopus probably doing something similar. These guys are very, very heavily stacked towards 2 elements. That's why we go for it. Pharrell is the only one that we really need to target. We just get Longbows and Breach, and we're good to go. Yeah, we did get rid of our Breach guy, but we don't have the option to actually go and restock our Breaches, so we're just going to get something close. We're going to attempt to recruit a couple of the frontliners. They've got fairly low loyalty, so we should see some pretty good odds of that, and then we use those to turn around, push past the front line, ignore the squishies, and take out Pharrell. Simple enough. Simple enough. Alright. Ideally, we're going to want one going down the left, but we're going to take the center line to hopefully not bait out any of them to take that left. I would say, like, left from the purpose of, or from the perspective of the characters on screen, it would be the bottom of the screen. We want to take that route. Alright. Burnden, we're probably going to end up replacing. Actually, I probably should have replaced him already, because fear is not going to help us. Alright. 40. Let's try to break them a little bit while they're getting close. You go after this one. We got a pretty solid ranging line over there right now. Alright. You go ahead and Zapify the water if you can. At least go for the stun. So, yeah, she's here primarily because if she lands a Heart Crusher, her dex should be pretty high, and anything that's, breached to any degree should be pretty well dead. So, that would be a handy situation. Anyway, go drop the 40 right there. Okay, next, you should be within position to drop a breach right here. Similarly, take the front line, go down that way. Actually, he might be the one that ends up running around the side. We'll see. Alright, you take the crit, and then you also go ahead and take the weapon card over there. So yeah. Like, he's going for one type of snipe. We have several other snipes that are just kind of going to be worked on in the background. Whichever one ends up landing the job, great. As the joke goes, you don't only send one assassin. So... Alright. Looks like one guy got a little bit injured. You don't have a heal to deal with that. That's quite tragic. Alright. You will potentially be a little bit of a better carrier for those skill cards down the road. I guess technically speaking, like I said, we already have one guarantee in the form of Diebold later on in this route. The reason we want a Terror Knight is because we want to be able to have those cases where we can easily shred a front line. And one of those biggest cases is going to be a case like friggin' Balbatos down, or not Balbatos, what's his friggin' face? Morn, Brandon, there we go. I don't know why I'm forgetting his name, it's too dang cold. But yeah, we'll want to be dealing with him down the road. I don't think I want to deal with that. I need you going quickly. The reason why will make sense in a moment. You, on the other hand, are going to go collect this card. So she'll be taking one flank, Canopus will be taking another, and then just kind of circle around from everywhere at once. These guys are just going to keep spamming recruit on these frontliners with relatively low loyalty, except for the one lady in the front there who has kind of good loyalty. Presumably, again, her and the dude are dating or something, I don't know. Anyway, this guy didn't want to join, so he has chosen death, and so we go ahead and move on. So we now have a clear line to Pharrell, give or take. They've got some mediums and some squishies in the way, but nothing too serious. We can go ahead and break you. Beautiful. Let's see. We can actually go for the double breach stab through you. Oh, well, that worked out exactly wrong. Fine. Just rush, I guess. And hit the wrong button, you know, as you do. I'm very good at that today, I will say. I'm doing really, really solid at hitting the wrong button over and over and over. This is, again, truly professional content is the thing. I really just won't see better. Okay. Yeah, totally nothing to do with the fact that it's frickin' freezing. That heater is doing nothing down here. Goes into coldest part of house. Sits in place without moving, complains about heat. Confirmed jackass. Anyway. 3%. Worth a shot. Let's see. You, do you want to put somebody to sleep? 0%? I believe in you. Do it anyway. Yeah, I don't know why this is, why exactly this is reminding me of it, but for some reason, I don't know if anybody watching this has ever played Jagged Alliance back in action. Basically, they tried to remake Jagged Alliance, like the second one, and I guess I don't really know who thought that was a good idea, because every part of that thing was just real bad. Now, okay. Technically speaking, on the visual front, it's not like it looked super ugly, but its whole thing was supposed to be a remake of a really freeform game, except they took out pretty much all the freeform stuff. So, like, for example, you're supposed to explore this whole island, and then you leave people in charge of watching the island, and, you know, you go back and you're trying to maintain the whole place. It's kind of like, almost like playing an RTS, but in turn-based kind of stuff. It's pretty neat. But anyway, yeah, when they remade it, they made it prettier, but then they made the controls near unplayable. They made a lot of the systems really weird. I mean, I can't claim to be some extreme expert on the original or anything, but it's just like, you could tell just playing the two side by side that the intentions were there, presumably, but the execution really wasn't. I mean, it got to the point where you would, like, it had this whole system with the melee weapons where if you, like, if you decided to go attack somebody in melee, you would force them to put their ranged weapon away, which on paper is kind of a cool idea. But in practice, it's just really irritating because a lot of the randos that you run into are just running around with machetes. So you're just there, you know, with your friggin' sniper rifle or something, repeatedly missing 20 plus times in a row while they run up with a machete and just decide your ranged attacks don't exist anymore. Which just feels super weird. Because, like, you read through all their bios and they're like, oh, it's this extreme, like, ultra-trained, you know, Marine who's been through all these wars, and then you see them in practice and they're like, okay, this guy either showed up to work extraordinarily drunk or they lied on the resume. Like, I've had cases where it was 3 units going in and attempting to, say, like, clear a small building, and they go in and every single one of them managed to miss all of their shots on just some random guy. So I figure, okay, maybe we need to be setting up those lines a little bit better. So we have, you know, the melee guy running up and attempting to stop their attack, but then they run away from the melee guy in order to go and facilitate going and attacking one of the other ranged guys. So suddenly you have your melee guy just running uselessly past this guy they're supposed to be attacking to go hit, you know, to try to stop them from hitting their friend who can't attack anymore. It's just like, this feels like there's ways to play around it for sure, but, like, everything feels very awkward. It just feels like everybody's, I don't know, I really wanted to like that game more, partially because every friggin' thing was a dirty joke. But anyway, details. I don't know why this suddenly reminded me of it, but oh well. Let's go ahead and attempt to recruit you, see if we get another friend. No, oh well. And then you go that way. Oh, sweet Jeebus, that is a big file size. Sorry, I was trying to, like, get a thing installed in the background. It's like 4 times larger than I was expecting it to be. Modern games, am I right? I should never be a comedian. I don't do funny. Alright, so Pharrell is looking pretty well beaten up at this point. He's got some pretty decent amount of health going. We just got to break him down a little bit more. Unfortunately, the rando breaches that we've gone for haven't quite landed. That guy is looking mighty dead, though. Yeah, sure, we could go for the recruit, but we also can maybe not. Alright, you, however, have a good bead on him, so why don't you go ahead and go here, take a nice long-range shot. Don't want him going for skills, that's not what we need right now, because you... Alright. And there we go. And now we should go ahead and have you pretty much dead to rights. All we gotta do is wait now for one of these breaches to land. And we're done. Good parry. World where that helps. No. Just need this Amazon to move. And unfortunately, he's probably going to retreat across the thing, isn't he? Because they don't have any other knights. I don't see anybody else coming up with a turn. Please don't take that immediate turn. Or that immediate tile. That'll do it. It is a little bit unfortunate that he's blocked the way that he is. Come on, breach. Good. Either way, we're set up well enough that this can still work. Again, we're kind of just getting denied in terms of tiles and movement and things like that. Range attacks should be able to finish him off at this point, though. We've got enough kind of getting into position that we should be fine. I'm thinking probably finisher off of Erso, probably long-range shot off of Sarah, and we're probably fine at that point. Possibly another finisher off of Denim. I'll probably just have you train a little bit, because currently you haven't done very much. Yeah, fairies are deceptively strong. Those, go for those, see if we can make a friend. Probably really low odds, but do it anyway. Technical time loss. I'm sure with a little bit more discretion on recruiting, probably might be a little bit better, but then there's always that chance of a massive time save from doing it, you know? This isn't going to be a crazy amount of damage. It's probably only going to be like 40 or so, but I'll take it. Or I guess 60. That's fine. That is not using combined elements or anything. Come on, crit this and we can go home. Darn. Alright. Captain Cantaloupe, make it happen. Or don't, because you're kind of out of range a little bit. And get denied. Alright, in that case, Denim's going to have to do it. Of course he is.
I'm sorry, Denim.
Oh, shoot. Trying to do 2 computers at once. What am I doing? Makes no sense. Why would you try to do that? Alright. Sword hit it is. 91. Ugh. Now that's disgusting. Yeah. That parry was rather unfortunate. Good. And you get so many XP charms. See, this is why we don't really go for any additional training bits or whatever else. It's just you get so much freaking experience as you're just going through the game normally. Next up we go to Padriga. Alright, for this one we're actually going to replace you with the Tamer again. What did I do with the Tamer? You go over here. There's a chance of acquiring the chicken, which we would like to do. Aircell, you have now become an Ice Archer. Congratulations on your immediate promotion. Beautiful. Alright. Everybody else should be fine. Probably replace Coulson over here with a new Ice Knight. Congratulations, Ice Knight. You're our new recruiter. Go ahead and throw a ring on you, and you're good to go. Yeah, the actual bonus from the rings is not really significant. It's just a very quick thing to throw it on there, you know? Alright, so current path is looking a little bit like this. We go through this one. Ideally, we acquire one chicken. We will, if we do acquire the chicken, we'll be replacing the chicken as our item user. The reason for this is because the chickens are just fantastic at a long-range item delivery, so we want that to happen as quick as possible. Darza will not end up moving forward until we deal with some of his party, or roughly 3 or 4 rounds. So again, we'll just kind of wait for that to happen. Technically, that's not a good longbow shot. We'll just wait on you. The ideal situation here would have been to have a charm on this ferry already. I probably should have gone ahead and dropped some XP charms at this point. That's actually an optimization I'll do in the future. Probably drop some charms on the ferry to unlock their charm skill a little bit sooner. I want to say it's 15 or so, something along those lines. But its odds to hit are so good, especially if you manage to over-level them a little bit, that, yeah, it's huge. Alright, so I want to... we're going to save the plume. We don't need it. He's going to stay where he is. He's going to attempt to react to wherever the chicken lands. We're going to go kind of spread our pattern out a little bit so that the chickens choose to land in the center, potentially giving us access to pincers, potentially, you know, giving us access to all that kind of stuff. Like, I saw a good bit of comments on the warrior video, for example, like, oh, I don't want to have to set up pincers. Like, well, it's pretty easy to set up. You just set everybody up in a square, and there you go. It's like, they'll do it for you. It's like, there's, I don't know, there's oftentimes a lot of those kind of assumptions of, like, you have to manually go do the whole thing, like, every car is only a manual. It's like, it's really oftentimes as simple as you just make a few slight adjustments to just make the game do it for you. You're kind of overthinking this, which I can never think of, like, a polite way to put that at the moment, but anyway, that's kind of what I'm trying to get at there. It's just like, there's always ways to just make the game do it for you instead of trying to do everything manually. Alright, let's see if we can get a stone on the chicken, please. Ooh, that is a nice chunk of damage coming out of you. This is, again, why Valks and Fencers are just so good. Like, Archers multiply real good. They got that range going for them, but man, Valks and Fencers, they just got everything. Just got absolutely everything going for them. Okay. Go ahead and take an axe to this chicken, because I would like chicken friend, please. That's tragic. I was really hoping we'd be able to already go for the recruit here. Alright, you just wait. Gonna have to wait for another opportunity. Alright. I probably should actually use some of those XP charms on a warrior at some point too. In fact, I guess it, technically speaking, makes a lot of sense to leave Denim as a warrior for this whole time. Because if you do so, you actually get a lot of benefits, because then you're going to end up having Vigorous on somebody that you can afford to spend some charms on. Kind of guarantee that it's always going to be there, you know exactly where they're going to be. Don't have to swap them out every now and then. That actually, yeah, there's a lot of benefits towards doing that. I think I'm going to do that in the future. Just remember that for a future run. Alright. Shake. So far, so good. We're starting to carve through the front line. Darza will be here eventually. That's fine. She gets knocked out. We actually probably may want to use a revive at that point. We'll see. We'll see if they're worth it. Alright, yeah, petrification is not going to be ideal if it happens. Actually, if that one was Petro Breath, that would have been a way better one to recruit, but screw it. Overthink it. Don't overthink it. Just recruit chicken. That's all we really got to do here. Alright, who got breached? You got breached. Send it. Alright. Biwawa. I love some of the really random looking names. Alright, so we've got a double spell stacked fairy at this point. Yeah, that'll be a nice 266 on you. Unfortunately, yeah, she's in a bit of a weird position, but that's fine. We can start sending her up the lines in just a moment. here. Nice big hit on you. Nice. Beautiful. Okay, that should be some pretty good odds there. Yes, I'm aware that I could have gone for the one that has Petra Breath already. Whatever. Again, right now we're just going for somebody. Alright, I want to get Darza going down here. He's an heir, so having Denim on him will be pretty useful. We're going to start firing down that way. We're going to try to protect our caster friend up here as best we can. It does cause a little bit more dialogue to happen, so we're going to lose a little bit more time there for declining to go save Sistina. And, you know, we're going to make Dude Guy a little bit sad, but honestly, that's fine. I should have gone for the one that has Breach. Oh well. Well, little tiny differences. Damage is damage. Strategy is strategy. Right. Time to go for the recruit. Surprisingly 7%. Apparently she does not like being a pirate. Right. Good parry, good parry. Is that another breach? No, but there's always another chance to breach with every swing. It's pretty handy. There's those nice on-strong element hits that constantly make people send over messages of like, oh no, the unit is too strong. Alright, we're going to send our Ice Knight up to the front here to deal with Darza when he decides to get close. Any chance you want to join? Nope. But the Knight did their hair all pretty and everything, and you're not going to listen to them? Honestly, that's just kind of rude. Anyway, Chicken Plan seems out the window, unless they rolled a really low Petrify, because he's currently stoned. So you never hire people off Craigslist for this. Oh well. He's going to go for the stick. By the way, the reason that he's attacking with the stick is because he literally had no other options, just kind of FYI. Actually, wait a minute. We're not going to go for that. In fact, we got a way better option. We're going to go up here. We are going to go for this. And we're not going to go take one of these, and we're going to go ahead and drop one of these. And apparently, one of the cats has decided to start chasing something around upstairs, so it's making all kinds of funny noises. Alright. Anyway, go ahead and end the bird. And at this point, since we can't hire the chickens, we need to kill off both the chickens, because this actually gives us access to a weapon that we're going to want later. They will, I believe it's pretty much always, or at least pretty likely to, but last time through I noticed that they were seemingly dropping all of the items necessary to make some cat claws, and that would be ideal. Come on, 1%. I'm going to keep doing it until it happens. It's just too fun. Alright. This. Perfect. And then I wish I could pause this to figure out what on earth the cats are up to out there. Alright. Chicken go bye-bye, unfortunately. Drop your monster parts. Do we have any breachers available? No. Oh, that was a clusterclock. Oh well. Nice parry. Yeah, I feel like I wish that I could get a more definitive answer as to whether agility actually affects parry odds. It's like there's so much agility on fairies, and they constantly seem to parry things. It'd be really nice if it did, but I'm pretty sure it's just set odds. A lot of the times it is. They usually are pretty careful about their scaling odds in this game. He's going to attempt to cherry tap this guy a little bit, because his purpose is going to be to drop breach if he can. And the situation downstairs is starting to fall apart a little bit. As it will. Now, plus side being, if Darza gets close, we can always send in our answer in the form of Denim just reviving our breach guy. It wouldn't be a guaranteed breach, but it would be a thing that happens. You know. As you do. Realistically, we probably could just attack and have it done. Also a possibility. Drop a Rending Gale on him. Alright. That's fine, I didn't want to hit anyway. It's fine, actually, we got the nuclear fairy over here. Oh man, she just ran out of MP too. Well, that's tragic, isn't it? Alright, finish off this one then. Or just barely don't, whatever. It's all good. It's all good. Alright. Should have gone for the tremendous, but they're probably just going to get counter-finished. So, blah there. Ooh, actually. That's interesting. Well, in that case, why don't you go ahead and go for the subdue. It's still going to be a long-range 11%, but I mean, hey, if it happens, it happens, yeah? It didn't happen. But if it didn't happen, it would have also not happened, so... yeah. That has a point to it. Anyway. Chicken, go bye-bye. Okay. So, do you have finisher? You have this kind of finisher. Do you have this kind of finisher? Because we're going to need this kind of finisher later. It's not mandatory, but I'm going to say it's pretty high odds of wanting to have rank 10. So we're going to want to make that happen. We're going to do a safety recruit over here in order to give them one more unit to go attempt to finish off, because we're going to want more attacks over Mr. Darza. We're going to be replacing Ice Knight with Turbo Knight over there as quickly as possible. He's going to take a big old whack on Squishy, as you do. Alright, somebody's about to bleed out. I don't know who that is. I'm sure they're important. Let's see, Tamer. I mean, Tamer does have a move pretty soon here, so that's a thing. Kind of getting our moves blocked by Captain Wizardface, but alright. Okay, how about you move over here, and you should have a pretty reasonable firing line on this one. 220. Beautiful. Now we should have another finisher coming from our archers, which actually we should just be able to finish or drop this guy. I don't think we need to waste a breach. Should be pretty well and solid, because, yeah, that's 135. Next one from Aerosol should be like, I don't know, 160, 180 somewhere. Something along them lines. You go ahead and finish off this one just because you're kind of here. Why not? Train up your axes a little bit. Yeah, what are you going to be? 160, 180-ish? 202. I'll take it. Man, sure is a shame that archers are totally harmless at this point. Anyway, get a bow. That is actually a really solid drop. I can actually go and upgrade that right now. I'll put that on Canopus. He's one of the few cases where we're actually going to want to make that happen. We got Paralytic Wave, we got Firestorm. I don't think we're going to be using her for anything.
Yours is the...
yeah, no thanks, bud. Let's go ahead and get out of here. We ain't got time for that. The selfish? No, the in a hurry is what you're trying to say. Alright, let's go ahead and get that thing upgraded. Oh, we can't yet. Okay, we need book 2 for that. In that case, we're just going to go ahead and give him the basic version. Where are you at? Birdman, here you go. Take thing, do the shooties. Because he's the one that's usually dropping finishers, so where the hell am I going? Alright, go here. Technically, if we wanted a bird, we could always take the alternative approach and just go straight into Farrampa, but yeah, we're just not going to bother right now. There we go, we got our Coquettish. Beautiful. We are going to keep you. So we're going to go ahead and throw some extra levels on her just to kind of guarantee that. I probably should pick up a better knife for her at some point too. We're also going to go ahead and buff him a little bit through these charms. Just because this will overflow experience to other units. Alright. That'll do it. Right, no recruits that we specifically want to do. A ninja would be nice, but it ain't gonna happen. Ideal here is, actually, here. Break these boxes, look for a card if we can get one. We want cards or crits for Canopus. Basically, Dagon's defense is low enough and his support is weak enough that a few rounds on a boosted Canopus should do the job just fine. So yeah, we're just running full PSP strats on this one. We're going to use Tamer to put a plume on him. We're going to use other units to go ahead and break these boxes so we can get some spawns early. That'll do the job just fine. We'll go ahead and send everybody else up front. Try to drop some finishers with the other available units. Attempt to use the ferry to turn some of the front line around. See if we can cause a little bit of chaos that way. Their healing is just the one lady in the back, aside from some item heals, which ideally, again, we want to just overwhelm everything at once. So we're hopefully not going to be running into that as an issue, and if we can get Canobas boosted well enough, then we shouldn't have to worry about it anyway. Attempting to drop a lot of breaches, so we're only going to put one unit over on the right side. It's all we realistically need. I've tried the strat running with two of them. It's just not worth the effort. Just because they end up getting in each other's way. I'm going to go that way. He'll be in the back row here, just assisting with finishers. In the off chance that we need to employ a breach, we will. I don't think we need to in this case, especially because we got that boulder bow drop. If we didn't, I'd say we definitely need to want to focus more on a breach. But archers benefit a lot more than many of the other characters from attack boosts. Like a lot of melee characters, you might have noticed, again, like his axe is still functioning just fine because most of their stuff is going to be more on the kind of on the stats side of things. When it comes to archers, they definitely will gain a lot more benefit out of something like this, where they get that slight upgrade. Anyway, we can go for the first quick Kenish here, attempt to send their front line back into their other front line. They don't have a tendency to remove this unless they have a Zolia drop on hand, which they usually don't, so this does make for a pretty effective time. Just again, this is why we employ the ferry. They're just really good at this kind of crap. Right. Ooh, we get a nice crit card up here. We go for the double stab. If we can get a free ninja or something like that, then dandy. But it's not a focus right now. I feel like our team's doing pretty well. We don't necessarily need every unit that we can get a hold of. Right. Wait, did I forget to upgrade him or something? No, I didn't. Okay. I was kind of worried there for a second. What am I doing? Yep. Yeah, false striking these guys can be pretty good because they really rely on that single hit damage. Alright, perfect. We managed to take this first little clearing here. So a lot of this map comes to claiming these little bridges as soon as you can, and then just as soon as there's an opening, you want to charge ahead. Nice. So like any openings you can do to prevent them from taking choke points, you want. Hopefully we're going to see that guy, yeah, just run up and hit anybody. Fantastic. Usually charm, like, I'd say it's a total coin flip as far as whether you'll actually end up getting a result out of charm in the long term, but sometimes they'll just keep attacking somebody with parry, and they'll just be completely out of the fight for ages. It's very handy for turning stuff around. This means you completely don't have to focus on him a lot of the time. Alright, I want him to work on his axe finisher, that's why I'm having him take the attack right here. Again, he is one of those cases where it's we're going to be using him long term, so we want to have him taking some extra attacks. In his case, a crit with either of his weapons should hopefully do the job. Let's see that. There's a chance to recruit this ninja. We're gonna attempt it anyway. Yeah, we want that tile as soon as we can. Right. Need you smooching on this ninja, please. See, like right there, missed the attack, got the charm anyway. It's a separate roll chance. Okay, we got a tremendous. We got eyes on the target here. Yeah, we should be able to sort this out very quick. Because their healer can heal, but they only can heal so much. What on earth is that noise? Right, whatever. Might as well drop the breach, just make this a little bit faster. Might as well use it because we got it, and we're already on the town tile, so just restocking on those should be good and quick. A quick thing, by the way, potential optimization that I didn't employ here. If you want to guarantee that you're going to have a lot of breaches on hand, potentially buy a lot of Obviously, it would be, you know, buy a lot of extras, but if you want to restock quickly, potentially there's an optimization in the form of just going and having a couple of units equipped with several breaches at the same time, so that you can use the quick rebuy function to maybe get some results there. It feels like it's maybe a little bit too tricky to pull off effectively, but I feel like there's maybe an option there. Either way, with Canopus' next round, hopefully we should be good. As you can see, he's kind of suffering from his long-range movement here. Like, he's got the biggest RT penalty per tile that he moves, so as it stands right now, he's still recovering from that long-range flight that he did. He might actually have an opening right now to go take out Dagon with an axe, that is. I'm not sure, we'll see. Right. And that right there is why we use Charm. All of their own attacks are just getting redirected right back at themselves. It's pretty handy. Hit my own unit. Oops. Let's see. Take a shot right there. Alright, we're not going to have anything right now, but we do have an option to shoot with this fairy, lower his health a little bit more, give him a stun. It's just good stuff overall. Alright, looks like he did end up getting his finisher. We can go for this. Got the Tamer coming up. What's he going to do? Tamer might be able to take a swing, but he's not anywhere near his next finisher. Like, really, the first finisher is the big one. Just gives him another additional option. For swords, the second finisher is really the big one, because that gives you a chance of dropping some pretty good poison. It's going to vary, obviously, but, like, that's more or less what it comes down to in my book. Okay. Let's see. Yep, 403, that'll do the job. Yes, yes, I'm sorry that we just created an orphan. Have a good day. Let's move on. And there we get the Balder. And we use the Balder on whatever sword specialist we prefer. If we wanted additional damage on Denim, we could use that on him. Realistically, the best play is just to immediately give that to Fulkert, because he is going to be joining our team pretty soon, and we want his attack power to be as high as possible. Yeah, we're not doing a fight in this next part, but that's fine. Skip.
Aye.
And they're not our enemy.
I've been...
Now, I like to have him as a Dragoon rider on down the road, but for the time being, he's going to take over as our frontliner due to being very slightly faster. And just due to the fact that he's got better equipment and it saves us a little bit of time on equipping anybody else. Yes, I did just immediately unequip the thing that I equipped. You see, this is a speed strat called being a dumbass. And, yeah. Let's move on. And this is where we go completely backwards for no apparent reason. Alright, awesome. Fantastic. Brain works so amazing good. Alright, so this is exactly the fight that you think it is. Now, I didn't end up picking up any more breaches, so this guy's going to be functionally useless. We're going to get this guy in here, and we need to overcome that issue right over there, so we need our fairy up in front. I need these guys charging down the left. You, on the other hand, are going to be going for a bit more armor, because you're going to be fighting right up in the front line there. So, you're going to get equipping that. I would be having you have more finishers if I could. Do I have a heal 2 for you? No, but I've got a wop 2. Is that going to help? No. We're going to go ahead and put another mending seed on you just for good measure. You've got double finishers. Idea here is relatively simple. Because he's running ice, he's also going to be... this is the other reason that we're keeping ice on him up to this point. Because in this case, he's going to be isolated off on his own, no pun intended. Meaning that he's going to take less damage from Zapan, meaning that he also can deal some damage to Zapan, and when he inevitably gets knocked out by the absolute mosh pit that comes down on top of him, he'll be able to at least do some scratch damage while everything else rushes in, and hopefully we can do the old dropping a bunch of range finishers and, you know, air striking Zapan into submission thing that we've been doing up to this point. So, you know, there's that. So, yeah. Bow's good. They do big number and make thing go fun. Alright. Axe on you. Beautiful. That's exactly what I want to see. Fairy, you're going to go over here. You're going to want more meditates rolling. I need you making some friends ASAP. We're going to have that right side cleared up pretty darn quick. And it looks like we've already got our full card set up for Mr. Dude Guy. Fantastic. Hopefully we get this stun. We do not. Alright. We want to drag him over here to the left, ideally. Actually, if you have anyone that can take water tiles, go do it. If you have anyone that can break some of these other things to potentially give you more card spawns, do it. Go ahead and take this front spot right here. Their Tamer's going to go that way, go for the stun. Honestly, would have expected that to land. That's how the AI works usually. That's not meant as a gripe, it's more of a, haha, isn't it just like that, fellow humans? Rude. Lizard took my card for my terrible joke. Okay, so. Yeah, your guys end up getting all choked up on top of themselves pretty quickly here. Come on. Go ahead and longbow this box in case there's anything in here. No. Alright. They're gonna keep doing that. They're gonna keep doing that. If we can get that other finisher going at some point, it would be awesome. I don't think we'll see that just yet. We can drop a heal on them to keep him going. If everything works out ideally, sometimes he can just win this fight on his own. He can win the 1v1. It's just not very likely to happen. And ideally, you want to see him actually fighting Zapan here, instead of having to deal with all this other stuff. Thank you, delayed inputs. And this time it is my hands that are having delayed inputs because they are freezy and shaky. Alright. Bonk. Probably should be going for the other thingy, but whatever. That is to say the Ice Blast 2 because it would drag him away and maybe make him go in another direction. But, you know, maybe not. Maybe it won't. Who knows? Alright. Next order of business. We want to be claiming more tiles. Actually, that was a dumb move because that's just going to do extra damage. There's that tile right there. Of course, that would block her. I'm not sure why I was doing that. I was trying to claim that extra tile on the other side, which works if it's a thing that you're actually wanting to do, but in this case, it's not what we wanted to do. And overall, just generally a nice way to accumulate some sadness. Ote. Parry. Nice. Alright. He's going to eat his basic Mendeleaf. He's then hopefully going to take that other card, and then come on riding in for this, this big finish down the road, hopefully. Actually, because we don't have anybody over there, including Cashwa. Currently everybody's just mobbing on Denim, and kind of leaving that right side open. This works out pretty nicely. This is, again, why you don't want to route for very, 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 very ultra-specific things for something like a speedrun of this game, because you're just going to wind up pissed off. Because so much stuff can turn into an absolute just clown show that, you know... This. Alright, so we're going to generate some TP with the archers, get them ready for their airstrike, and then go for another low damage thing with a nice parry. Alright. Actually kind of okay taking the counter in that particular instance. Alright, we got the meditate. Now we're just going to go ahead and send you on backage friends, please. Who's got a turn next? You, probably? Beautiful. Alright. So, while we can open up that corridor... actually, we are going to open up that corridor. Because she can essentially be revived and then immediately take another turn like she has. Not to mention, should be drawing a lot of aggro as it is. But believe it or not, we're actually a couple fights away from the end of the chapter at this point. Okay, Zapan is really charging in there. That's solid. Denim got taken out, which isn't great, but hey, we just got our pretty good chance of our breach right here. Breach it? No. Okay. Probably shouldn't be wasting the mighty because the golem's more than likely going to come in and block that tile. Alright. Just gotta know what are your numbers looking like. 76. Let's take the Fizz, take the crit, and then attempt to drop, just kind of crit drop him in a little bit. Alright. You're going to go right here. You're going to attempt to heal Ferry. Hopefully we'll get a few more rounds. Hopefully we can get their people all fighting each other. Hopefully you can get this breach done. We need that vigorous. Definitely want that vigorous sooner than later. Because yeah, we get the vigorous on hand, but this allows us to guarantee a lot more breaches. Yeah, technically I should have just used the cards at this point. I'm pretty sure we do have access to it, if I'm not mistaken. Don't know for sure. either way, we still have lanes at Zapan right now. We still have ways to attack him. So hopefully we'll be seeing more of that in a moment. And we're going to go for the mend leaf. Yeah. Goody goody. Alright. What do we got coming up here? Just going to do more of that, I guess. This turn's coming up. Go this way. I need you to give me some numbers. 127, that's actually worth doing right now. Because if they got any more heals, we can hopefully bait them out. This is another one of them that you can actually just drop them down to critical. You don't actually have to take them out, so if we already have 3 on hand, we can just kind of make this happen right now. He's got 182. All finishers are going to have their same range regardless of primary weapon type, so yeah, we should be fine here. Right. Calling in an airstrike on Zapan over here. This should be enough because it's going to do over 600, which should be enough to put him into crit. There we go. That's that. And then some happy little genocides happen. Alright, and then there were 2 more. Only one of which is an actual real fight. Okay, so now we go over here, and this time we'll actually go ahead and pick up a few more items. So first off, go to shop.
Good day.
Yes. Go to here, pick up more items. I need more of these. And I need more of these. And we're good to go. Let me skip some cutscenes. We're going to rock the same team. First things first. You should have Eagle at this point. No, you don't have Eagle. Alright. Never mind. Who's got Vig? Your team. Do you have Vig yet? Yes. Okay, good. Not on you. You are fine as you are. You get Alcolas on there. You are also going to eat a couple of these. Beautiful. And you are also going to do the same. This is only for right now. Again, all of their stuff, once they cap out at the end of this fight, will spill over to everybody else, but it will allow this one to potentially go a little bit smoother. Okay. So, despite what it says, only Ramidos needs to actually go. We'll pick up more of those breach items in a moment. Alright. Next up, you go right here. I need to park the archers right next to him. Cool thing about the damage multiplication archers do, if you're running off of a tremendous shot, it will essentially still use that 25% bonus damage off of them still, which means that in this particular instance, we can create a case where they're essentially tripling their damage to a degree, or almost tripling it, whatever, because they're getting the, again, ignore the numbers. Yes, I know, Recession, you're already typing it out, but in terms of the numbers, they get plus 25% off the instill, plus they're already basically doubling it off the crit. Again, yes, that is circumstantial. But, yes, point being, number good, and then we make number go big. And in the case of this case, where we have a squishy boss, we just basically ignore everything. We attempt to land that breach on the boss, drop her with pretty much anything, and we're good to go. We try to just push their frontliners out of the way. Again, Mighty Strike is going to be fantastic for that. Definitely one of those unsung kind of moves, as it were. Alright, so you're going to go right here. Actually, I forgot, this was the one use, or one, well, originally I was going to use it as the first use of a magic leaf over the course of this run, but we're going to do that later. I'm going to do that for Denim. Alright, go for you. Again, we're looking just to stack up our finishers, stack up our turns, drop them all in one place, and we're all good to go. Only attacking to see if he can inflict a false strike here. As you can see, he's still doing pretty okay damage, despite the fact that his weapon is complete garbage. I mean, technically speaking, on a statistic level, it should be garbage. It's like, I think, like 20 or 30 attack points lower than the other one. But again, remember that at this point, it doesn't really matter that much. I mean, it's a little bit lower damage, but again, he might be doing 120 with a better weapon, but all things considered, it's not going to be kind of the end-all, be-all in this particular scenario. Actually, here, this is what I wanted. Like, looking around, like, I know I see that card somewhere. Why is my brain not registering it? So we look at this thing, and... okay. Well, I mean, we can definitely confirm that those numbers were pretty good. I was like, why exactly did my trajectory disappear? Oh, I don't know. Shoot anyway. Granted, dumb move, but whatever, carrying on. Okay, so let's see if we can maybe get a recruit on you. Oh, really? Those odds are pretty good. Alright, I'll take it. This guy hates his job. I was going to say that'd be a nice little, very quick turnaround here. But, yeah, all we actually need off Canopus is probably 1 or 2 shots here. And this dude is getting all the cards, though. That wasn't from the cards, though. He just got a hit on element. Okay, we actually can get rid of him, though, and we probably want to, because that's going to start building up pretty quick. But he also wants to join us, so that actually could be a good potential turnaround. Ignores the pen because he's mostly going to chicken out back there. Usually Old Lady will charge ahead if he doesn't. Like, if you charge, usually he'll hold back. If you run backwards, he'll charge ahead. Anyway. Alright, they got their improved heavy crossbows at this point. As they do. Alright. Join us. We have cookies. We don't actually have cookies. We probably shouldn't have lied to the guy. Maybe that's what it was. Alright. Let's see. Yeah, let's go for this one. Alrighty. Anyway, so far so decent. I will be muting it for just a sec, though. Alright, looks like all hell is breaking loose, so I definitely need to be wrapping this up within the next couple of minutes here, as you do. Alright, as you can see though, we're already getting very close. We just need a couple of quick attacks and we're done here. Hopefully she decides to run forward, try to nuke somebody. Realistically, I would expect Dem will probably finish off pretty quick. If not him, somebody else. Like, she's completely in the danger zone from all directions right now. Let's see. Probably attempt to heal you a little bit just as a bit of a backup plan. I don't think that's necessary, but whatever. By any chance... 2%, whatever. Roll it. Might give us some extra bits and pieces down the road. Then we got Aircell, who should, I would figure, have at least one finisher set up so far. It's just we're pretty solidly set up right now. Yeah, one tile out of range, unfortunately. Do you have a shot? Yes. It will be enough to... I mean, she's still going to end up getting healed quite a bit. But this should be enough to overwhelm... Actually, if we go for this, then she won't get healed, because they'll attempt to heal the healer instead. Or at least we'll go for a less effective one like that. That's another one of those tricks to just kind of bear in mind when sort of winging it here, that if you know you're not going to get the kill there, instead of trying to stack up, like it just gives them something that they can out heal. You just want to move that somewhere else so that it gives them the choice to make a mistake. Okay, one moment. Okay, so yeah, the elements thing was completely off last time. I still gotta kind of have it a little bit quiet in the moment. All the kiddos are up and doing their crazies off in the background, so yeah, it's just gonna be muted for the rest of it. But you basically get the general idea. We set up for a few quick back and forths here. We take a few swings. We each do one finisher. Hopefully, like ideally, they would just do a false strike for one of these at some point. You can take one more hit at this point. Basically, the idea is that you run up, you hit him one more time here. That'll put him relatively low. Again, hopefully we'll be inflicting a false strike at some point. Go for this right here, or at least you can. The idea is we run away, we do one menacing right here. We can take one more finisher from him at this point. We can go ahead and drop the finisher on him for this. Then we simply drop one more recovery item while he does this, because he'll get away at range. We can then step away. We know that he's only got one basic attack left, so we step away, we recharge with this. Technically speaking, you can just do this normally. You can just do this with a regular leaf, that is. It's just sometimes turns go a little bit funky, and you don't want to accidentally screw up, and there we go. That is the end of the chapter. So then we switch over to neutral, and that is that. That is this part done.
Is that how
Yes. Shut up.
join us?
You know what? That sounds like a great idea. Anyway, so thank you for stopping by for Chapter 2, and let's see how we did. You know, I gotta say, that actually went pretty well. I have to lower the estimate on what's possible for this bit. So overall, I'd say the execution was pretty sucky for that one, but we still wound up with 347. The original one that went, like, friggin'... I thought it had gone much better, was 344. So, yeah, with all of the, like, half an hour lost, I would say sub 3 hours getting into Chapter 3 is certainly possible. Anyway, so that's that. I gotta go. Y'all have a good one. Take care.